Welcome back to another Honkai Impact 3 video. It's your homie Cody GT, and in today's video, my boys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the very last brand new character that will be coming to the new version 3.3 here very soon, within the next couple of days. I hope you're excited, and I hope you enjoy the video today. If you do, go ahead and drop a like. It's greatly appreciated. It means a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and consider subscribing. Join the family today. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Help us reach that major milestone. Now, we are talking about Void Drifter Ranger Kiana. We're going to go ahead and do a bit of a character breakdown / analysis, just like we did for the Hersher Reason Cyber Angel Bronya. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at probably one of my most favorite characters and probably my most anticipated character to come to the global side of Honkai Impact 3 here very soon. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the weapons, the applicable stigmatas, or what you can go ahead and put on her, as well as the skills. So she is going to be a Mecha Valkyrie typing, so keep that in mind. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the weapons, there are a few different weapons that you can go ahead and apply to her. One of them being the Keys of the Void. That will be a good one. Reason being is because with the passive skill, the character deals 20% more physical damage and gains 30% crit damage. This is all going to go ahead and tie into her skills and what she brings to the table as far as the Valkyrie standpoint is concerned. Another really good one, or I shouldn't say a really good one, but I should say another applicable one that would work with her, is gain 5%, or this weapon right here, the Bows of Hell. For the passive skill, Underworld River gains 5% crit rate. Character attacks on stunned and frozen enemies gain 40% physical damage. That's always a great buff. I mean, that's very situational, but it still works when it is available. So keep that in mind. That is a really good one. Now, if we go ahead and we move over here to the Mojnair, always a really good weapon to have on any Kiana or Callan. Reason being is because the Wrath of Thor drops a hammer of thunder that knocks down enemies, dealing 405% attack of physical damage and impairing them, decreasing their defense by 80% for 4 seconds. That debuff is always a good thing. And then Crush gained 15% crit rate, so that's always great as well to be able to go ahead and get more of that crit rate. Now, a good free-to-play weapon is the Jingwei Wings. One of them, for the reason being, for the passive Endless, for each repeated hit on the same target resets if no attacks occur in 2.5 seconds. The next attack gains 2% crit rate, caps at 20%, and 5% crit damage, caps at 50%. So that is a good viable option if you are free to play or do not have any of the gacha weapons that I just mentioned. Now, one of probably, I should say probably the best weapon to go ahead and apply to her, in my opinion, is the Tranquil Aureus. Reason being, for the passive skill, for the switch in, switch out playstyle, the Nightbringer character gains 15% physical and elemental damage when deployed. Character gains 50% total damage multiplier for 5 seconds. This buff triggers once every 30 seconds when the character is deployed. Using the ultimate skills resets the cooldown and immediately activates the buff. So that is awesome. Getting a 15% physical damage when deployed and then gaining 50% total damage multiplier for 5 seconds is going to go ahead and allow you to hit tremendously hard. Really ties into what Void Drifter is all about, and it's really good for that switch in, switch out type of playstyle if you are into that. So keep that in mind. Tranquil Aureus probably being one of the best weapons you can go ahead and equip on her. But the other ones that I mentioned up here, the Keys of the Void, the Bows of Hell, and the Mojnair and Jingwei Wings for the free-to-play, is also good applicable weapons. Really, again, it depends on what you have on your account and what you're able to apply to her. So that's why I wanted to give a couple of different options. So that is for the weapons. Now, moving over to the stigmas, we do have a couple of different applicable stigmas that you can go ahead and apply to her. So starting out with the top, we do have Dirac T. For this Dirac T, the reason being is because you gain 10% crit rate. After entry, host gains another 10% crit rate for 9 seconds. So that's a good top stigma if you want to go ahead and go for crit rate. Another good one, in my opinion, is the Michelangelo T. Every basic attack, including charge and combo attacks, increases your physical damage by 7.2% for 3 seconds. Stacks up to 5 times. Adding a stack resets the duration of the physical damage increase effect. So really good for the physical damage. That's something that you're going to be able to go ahead and apply. and we all know that Void Drifter is a physical type of Valkyrie, so that is going to be applicable, and that could work out. Again, this will all be very situational to what you have, as well as what you're looking to go ahead and do, whether it's going to be Memorial Arena or Abyss or just open world, something of that nature. So you have to keep that in mind. Depending on what you're looking to go ahead and do and what you have on your account will determine what stigma you're going to go ahead and apply to her. Now moving over to Schrodinger Band T, this will also be a good one for her. For each attack that hits an enemy, gain 2% physical damage. Enter the elated mode for 5 seconds after gaining 7 stacks. In this mode, attacks gain 25% total damage multiplier. All buffs will be removed after elated mode ends. So that is something that you can go ahead and take a look at applying to Void Drifter that would be applicable. We also have the Ascendant T, basically for gaining 20% physical damage right there, because the other part under Hersha form gain another 30% physical damage doesn't really apply here. But that 20% unconditional physical damage right there is a really good one to go ahead and take advantage of. We do also have the Picasso T as a good free-to-play set. Now, red paint, every basic attack including charge and combo attacks grant 1 charge stack. Upon gaining 4 charge stacks, enter Zeal mode to deal 32% more physical damage, and Zeal mode lasts 6 seconds. Duration resets every time Zeal mode is triggered. So that is a good free-to-play stigma to go ahead and take advantage of. If you do have it, you can go ahead and apply it and see if it works, because of the physical damage that you can go ahead and get from it. Now, another one I did want to go ahead and mention as well is the Zoro T. Gains 20% total damage multiplier after an ultimate evasion, gain 3 SP. So that total damage multiplier is always a good thing, and then the additional SP is also very good as well. So those are some applicable top stigmas that you can go ahead and apply to your Void Drifter if you wanted to go ahead and apply that. Now, go ahead in the comments below, let me know which other stigmas will be applicable as well. I know there's a bunch more that you can go ahead and apply to Void Drifter, maybe even some better ones than I just mentioned. So in the comments below, go ahead and let me know what those are, and we can go ahead and discuss that together as well. You guys are very knowledgeable and know a lot more than I do, so that's always a good thing to have multiple people commenting, because it helps everybody out, not just myself but the community. So that's always awesome. Now for the mid, we could go with Ekaterina mid. When combo hit count exceeds 40, gain 41% physical damage. That's always something that can be applicable, especially for physical type of Valkyries. Now we do have the Michelangelo M. Every basic attack, including charge and combo attacks, increases your crit rate by 3 seconds, or by 3% for 3 seconds. Stacks up to 5 times. Adding stack resets the duration of the crit rate, increases effect. So that's always a good thing, something that you can take advantage of for the crit rate. Then we do have the Lear Scarlet M as well. Reduce max HP by 15% in battle, but nearby enemies take 103% attack and physical damage per second, while the host deals host heals 20 HP every 3 seconds. So you do lose some HP, which is unfortunate, but you do get a really good buff in physical damage, as well as being able to heal every 3 seconds. So it's a bit of a caveat for that one, but I do like that Lear Scarlet M for Void Drifter. I think it's going to be really beneficial and something that will work really well with her. Now we also have the Schrodinger Band M. For each attack that hits an enemy, gain 2% crit rate. Enter the elated mode. In this mode, gain immunity to control debuffs and 15% total damage reduction. So you are able to go ahead and get a bit of damage reduction, so you're able to survive a little bit longer and also get a bit of a crit rate. So that's always nice right there. Now we do have the Zoro M as well. Now for this one, gain 40% crit damage after ultimate evasion. Gain an additional 15% crit rate for 5 seconds. So that's always a really good thing. You're going to get an unconditional 40% crit damage. That's fantastic. And then if you do the ultimate evasion, you're going to gain an additional 15% crit rate. So that's something to keep in mind, and something that I think would be really, really good on your Void Drifter if you're going to go ahead and use her. So moving over to the bottom, we do have the Dirac B. I like this one because it gains 20% physical damage after ultimate evasion or triggering evasion skill. Host gains 1.5 SP for 10 seconds. Does not trigger again during this time. So I think that is a good one to go ahead and apply. Also, I think a good one would be Zoro B as well. Gain 20% physical damage after ultimate evasion. Gain an additional 20% physical damage for 5 seconds. So I think that's a really good bottom stigma to go ahead and apply to your Void Drifter. I think that could work out really well. We do have the Michelangelo B as well. Every basic attack, including charge and combo attacks, increases your crit damage by 14% for 3 seconds and stacks up to 5 times. So as you can see, we do have a bit of a trend going here. We're going for physical damage. We're going for crit damage. The more we can get of that, I think the better. For a free-to-play set, or free-to-play option, I should say, we do have the Attila B, always a fantastic one. When combo hit count exceeds 30, gain 31% physical damage. That one always works. Now, we do have the Wildy B, or, yeah, I believe that's how you say it. I probably messed that up. So for this one, you gain 10% crit rate, charge attack bleed the target and nearby enemies in a small AoE to inflict 400 physical damage every half second. So I think that would be a valuable one to go ahead and apply as well, something you can go ahead and take advantage of. We do have the Callan Pledge B as well. Gain 20% physical damage against elite enemies and take 21% less physical damage from attacks of elite enemies. Now this one's a little more situational. That one would be for certain events that you're looking to go ahead and take on specifically, not something that you would use just all the time. So keep that in mind. Now, we do have the Lear B at 100% or higher HP, gain 46% physical damage. Now, this has a restriction, so you might want to be careful with this one, but it does give you a good buff in physical damage, but you basically cannot take any hits. You have to have full HP, so a bit of a restriction there, but that is something, if you don't have any other options, is a good one that you can go ahead and take advantage of. Now, we do have the Mendeleev B. Host gains 3% physical damage buff per second after entry. Max stacks 10. So this is one that you can take advantage of. Again, just depending on what you have in your account, what you're able to apply would really determine what you're going to go ahead and use. Now, a really good one that I think would work here as well, probably one of the better options, is Isaac Newton B, of course. Attacks on the enemy initiate challenge mode. That lasts 5 seconds. During challenge mode, attacks gain 41% total damage multiplier, but hits taken also gain 31% total damage multiplier. Cooldown 10 seconds. So just the natural 41% damage multiplier, that is, you know, always going to be a great thing to go ahead and apply, especially on your physical type Valkyrie. So Isaac Newton B, I think it's a fantastic one. But again, in the comments below, go ahead and let me know what is your combinations of what you believe would be a really good stigmata set to go ahead and apply. Now, I did want to go ahead and go over a few sets just because I mentioned a couple for the top and bottom, or the mid and bottom, so I wanted to go over a couple of sets. So for the Dirac set, we take a look at the 2-set skill. If any 2 stigmata effects are active, gain 35% physical damage. When this effect is triggered, the duration of both stigmata effects are reset and extended to 14 seconds. So I think that's going to be a good one if you have the 2-set for the Dirac stigmas. Now, if we go ahead to the Zoro, if you go ahead and do the 2-set here, gain 1 charge for every 10 seconds on the field. When there are nearby enemies, deal 100% attack of lightning damage to a random nearby enemy and stun them for half a second. The host deals or also enters Desezra mode. I believe I said that right. Any evasion will trigger ultimate evasion effects. Desezra ends upon ultimate evasion. Unleash a lightning shockwave when going on the field for the first time. After ultimate evasion, combo / charge attacks gain 20% total damage multiplier for 5 seconds. So I don't think it's as applicable as the Dirac set, but it's still a good one. Still one that you could take advantage of. Now, if we take a look at the 3-set, let's say you go ahead and apply all 3. After ultimate evasion, the next attack unleashes a Z-slash. The Z-slash deals 300% attack of physical damage to enemies within a small AoE. Also implies impair, lowering enemy defense by 5% or 50%, excuse me, for 5 seconds. So I think that's a really good one to go ahead and apply. If you have all 3, this might work out for you. It does good physical damage as well as debuff the enemy, gives them impair. So that's a really good 3-set to go ahead and apply. So keep that in mind, something you can go ahead and use if you have all 3 set. Again, it's going to be dependent on what you have in your box. So let's go ahead and go over the skills for Void Drifter. We're going to go ahead and start with the passive because I believe that pretty much leads into everything else. So the passive starts at 0. Characters gain 50% or 50 max SP. At full Hersher charge, character enters inner turmoil for 3 seconds. Character cannot attack, evade, or use weapon skills for this duration. Nearby enemies are stunned for 3 seconds. Stun cooldown 10 seconds. When inner turmoil ends, Hersher charge decays to 0 at 50 per half 75 seconds. Combo attacks gain only be performed after Hersher charge decays to 0. Inner turmoil can be cancelled by switching characters or casting the ultimate. Now this is referring to when you max out her charge bar and she goes into that stun mode where she is stunned and she cannot move, as well as stunning the enemies. That is what that is referring to, the passive skill right there. Now looking at the first skill, if I can English, is very difficult today. Excuse me, my boys. Antimatter rounds deal 60% more damage against shields, so she does more damage to shielded enemies. That's good. Volatile energy, when character enters inner turmoil, teammates gain 12 SP and 20% total damage multiplier buff for 12 seconds. So that is also a really good thing. You're able to go ahead and buff the allies, so she's a bit of a support Valkyrie as well in that aspect, being able to provide SP as well as a damage buff, so that's really good. And then the tenacity, character gains 10% crit rate and 15% crit damage, so that's always a good thing. As you can see, that's what we're going for, is the crit and physical damage. Now let's go ahead and move over to the special attack first, and this is her tap and hold attack, where you go ahead and take out the lance and be able to do some good melee damage up close. So you have your first sequence is 200% attack and physical damage. The second is 150 plus 150, so that's 300%. And then the third is 300% attack of physical damage. And each combo attack performed plus 100 Hersher charge. So that's also really good. Now the temporal lag, if combo attack hits a void marked enemy, then deal another 120% attack of physical damage. The third combo attack sequence further inflicts a 3-second time slow. That is really good right there. So the combo attack hits a void marked enemy, then you're going to deal an additional 120% of physical damage. So you're going to be able to do more damage there, as well as you're going to be able to inflict a 3-second time slow. That is a good skill right there. I do like that. Now the Rift Drifter, for each combo attack performed, combo attack gains 10% total damage multiplier for 10 seconds. Max stacks 5. Triggering this again resets the duration. So the more you do it, the more damage you're going to go ahead and be able to apply. Falling Comet, when performing combo attacks, gain, ignore, interrupt, and 60% defense. So you're getting a bit of a buff when it comes to your defense. You're not going to be able to be interrupted, so you're going to be able to go ahead and continue your combo attacks, and you're going to be able to take damage, because being up close and going with a melee style means you're probably going to go ahead and take some hits. That's kind of inevitable. So being able to get a defensive boost is always a good thing, especially for up close combat. So we're going to go ahead and move over to the ultimate Void Impact. Unleash Hersher powers to attack nearby enemies. So applies time slow to nearby enemies and deal 2000% attack of physical damage, and inflicts a 12-second void mark. So remember how we talked about the void mark in the very first skill when it came to her charge attack. Being able to attack a void marked enemy means you're going to do more damage. So being able to pop the ultimate first is going to be allowing you to do more physical damage to the enemies, because it's going to apply the void mark. Now with that being said, also casting the ultimate resets the Hersher charge. SP cost 100, so that's good. Now if we take a look at the first skill here, Valkyrie Impact, the last hit of the ultimate stuns enemy for 5 seconds. Fantastic. Void Sync, during ultimate, character gains 20% crit rate for 7 seconds. That is always a good thing. And then Valkyrie Frenzy, ultimate gains 20% crit damage. So as you can see, we're really getting a lot of crit buffs going on here, whether it's crit rate, crit damage. It's all happening here with your Void Drifter, so that's really good. Now if we move over to the basic attacks, for the first it's 100%, for the second is 3 times 50, for the third is 2 times 80, and then for the fourth is 150% attack of physical damage and inflicts a 12-second void mark on the enemy. If the fourth sequence hits, then creates a 3-second Nurse Storm to pull in enemies. A Nurse Storm cooldown 10 seconds. Enemies hit by the fourth sequence or pulled in by the Nurse Storm are void marked for 12 seconds. Performing the 4th basic attack sequence and Earthstorm, lose 50 Herrscher charge. So you're going to be able to reduce your Herrscher charge a little bit by doing the 4 sequence attack, but the 4 sequence attack is going to allow you to go ahead and apply the void mark, which again, remember, is going to allow you to do more damage to your enemies with your melee combo charge attack. And it's going to go ahead and apply the Inner Storm to pull in the enemies. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Really, really good 4th sequence attack. You're definitely going to want to get that off each and every time. Now, looking at the first skills, Concentrate Fire, repeated attacks against same enemy, gains 2% attack speed up to 35%. So you're going to be able to hit a little bit faster if you're attacking the same enemy. Bleeding Shot, basic attacks that score a crit have a 80% chance to bleed enemies, dealing 255 physical damage every half seconds for 4 seconds. So it's not a guarantee, but if you the attacks that you're doing, if they score a crit, then you're going to be able to have a chance to bleed the enemy. So that's good. I wish it was 100%, but I'll take 80. That's still a high chance. You're going to get it off most of the time. Now the QTE, Twilight Ranger QTE triggers when enemy is impaired, deals 750% attack of physical damage, knocks enemies airborne, and inflicts a 12-second void mark. So this is another way you can go ahead and apply the void mark. So now we have 3 ways so far. We have the ultimate, we have the 4 sequence on the basic attack, and then we have the QTE. So there are plenty of ways for you to be able to go ahead and get that void mark, which at that point then, remember, you're going to want to go in with the melee attacks and be able to do tons of physical damage. So that is fantastic. I do like that. And we're going to go ahead and move over to the evade. So the Zeitstrom, I hope I said that right, quickly dodge enemy attacks, can be performed 2 times in a row. That's really good. Now the Zeitflux, Ultimate Evasion, deals 300% attack of physical damage to nearby enemies. Hold on, let me read that again. Ultimate Evasion deals 300% attack of physical damage, very nice, to nearby enemies, and generates a 3-second Inner Storm that pulls in enemies and inflicts a 12-second void mark. There we go, my boys. We got a 5th way to go ahead and apply that void mark. That's awesome. Cooldown 15 seconds, creating the Inner Storm, lose 50 Herrscher charge. So that's another way to be able to go ahead and reduce your Herrscher charge bar by doing the Ultimate Evasion. You're going to be able to go ahead and reduce that as well. Now we have a 5th way to apply the void mark, which is with the Ultimate Evasion. And the Ultimate Evasion is able to go ahead and apply that vortex that pulls the enemies in and be able to create more crowd control. So that is fantastic, as well as through 300% attack of physical damage. I mean, that is a fantastic little added bonus to your Ultimate Evasion. That's awesome. Now moving over to the first skill, Rift. I hope I said that right. I think I messed that up. After Ultimate Evasion or switch entry, character gains Ignore Interrupt for 40 or Interrupt and 40% total damage reduction for 8 seconds. So that is awesome. So after your Ultimate Evasion or after you switch into Void Drifter is going to go ahead and gain Ignore Interrupt. So you're going to be able to just go ahead and continue doing what you're doing. Even if you're being hit, you're not going to be interrupted. And 40% total damage reduction. So you're going to gain another damage reduction right there. So if we apply that to the 60% we were speaking about earlier, that's 100% total damage reduction. So she is going to be extremely tanky and going to be able to take some hits, my boy. So you're going to be able to go in with those melee attacks and really you know, not be too concerned about taking damage. That's awesome. Now Time Bender shortens cooldown of Ultimate Evasion by 3 seconds. Very nice. And the Rift Siphon, creating the Inner Storm, restores 8 SP. So that's a really good skill. So if you create the Inner Storm, now I'm not sure if that's just in general with your 4 sequence attack, or if it has to be with the Ultimate Evasion, since we're on the Ultimate Evasion skills. But either way, you're going to be able to gain 8 SP, which means you're going to be able to do your ultimate that much quicker. So that's good. I like that. Very nice. And then moving over to the leader skill, team gains 25% move speed. Mech type characters gain 14% attack speed. I don't know if you're going to be using that leader skill too often, but it's there for you. So my boys, that is Void Drifter. That is what she entails pertaining to her weapon, her stigmatas, as well as her skills, what she's going to bring to the table on paper. She sounds amazing. I am truly excited to go ahead and finally gain her on my account. She looks fantastic. I think she's going to be really good, not only in your everyday events, but also in Memorial Arena and in Infinity Abyss, or just Abyss in general, whether that be Q Singularis or Dirac C. I think she's going to be a really good Valkyrie all around. I love these augmented Valkyries. I mentioned that last time in my other videos. I think she's going to be one of those top tier Valkyries you're going to want to go ahead and have. Triple S rank, get her skills maxed out, get her core maxed out. I think she's going to do a lot of good things for you. But with that being said, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, like I mentioned earlier, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it is your homie Cody GT, and I'm out.